What's up, guys? It's Matt from the 203K Way, and I'm super stoked to have you here showing you the 203K Way Quick Property Analyzer tool, guys. This is going to be your bread and butter when you're analyzing deals for 203K loans. So what I did was I really just took all the steps that I really talk a lot about in my book, and in my masterclass course, what have you. And I basically boiled it down into a tool that is going to allow you to look at deals very quickly, get a rough idea on whether or not this thing looks good, looks bad, ultimately leading you to the next step, which is to take a deeper look, go check out the property, talk to the listing agent, whatever. So what I'm going to do in this video is I just want to walk you through the process step by step, just to give you a good insight on how to use this tool. One thing I will say is it requires practice. Do this over and over again. Do it for as many deals as you can when you first get started, guys. As an investor myself now, I analyze deals like crazy. I analyze them pretty much all by hand. I do quick stuff on a napkin. These things aren't meant to be exact. Remember, it says quick property analyzer, right? So this is just to see if it passes that first test, right? If it gets through that first loop. You know what I mean? So after that is then when you have to dig in deeper, right? Ideally, you're analyzing tons of properties. I mean, I've analyzed hundreds of properties, probably thousands at this point, and it becomes second nature after a while. But the reality of it is you need to do that many to find how many to put offers in. And then, at my level now, like when I'm looking for flips, you're putting in 10, 20 offers before you even get one like even accepted. So get what I'm really getting at here, guys, is this is a really important thing for you to get good with and get comfortable with. And what I'm going to do here again is walk you through it step by step. And honestly, I'm going to do this live with you guys. I have no good deals, bad deals. I have no idea. I'm going to just pick somewhere randomly and we'll go from there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my browser just to get started. Now, before we get into it, I will really just give you a step-by-step on how this thing works, okay? So property listing price. All right, this is going to be the price that they give on whatever website you're looking at, okay? Whether it be homepath.com, which is really a great website to start because those are going to be Fannie Mae foreclosures, which are going to pretty readily accept 203K financing. That's like your first one. Um, you know, I won't get into exactly, I talk a little bit more about it in the course and in the book, but really what you want to do is you want to put that into start just to see if the asking price is even viable. In many cases, guys, you're still going to offer lower, right? That's the game. You still want to come in at a lower price. But at the end of the day, it's good to just start there just so you see if you're even close, okay? The next number here is going to be square footage. In New York, square footage is kind of tough to come by for whatever reason, but in many other states, it's really never an issue. And we'll go into a little bit more about that. But square footage means the square footage of the property, not the lot, okay? So it's not going to be like the entire, like whatever the property it's on. It's going to be of the actual footprint of the structure itself. Rehab price per square foot. Refer to the key on the right. So you do just exactly that, guys. So now my background's in construction. My dad's been doing construction for literally 50 years. I've been doing it since I was old enough to swing a hammer. So these are numbers, guys, that as I flip more and more properties, that I've become pretty accustomed to figuring out when I'm looking at a rough estimate on what it's going to cost to get the property up to snuff. Okay. So typically what I like to do is just look at it from the eyes through the pictures just to get a rough idea on what the condition of the property is, right? So the first thing would be, is it a light rehab? When I mean light rehab, I mean paint, flooring, cosmetic stuff. Very easy stuff, probably stuff that I'd like to say that you could do even if you weren't a contractor, okay? Something like that, I like to figure about $20 per square foot in the property. Even that might be high depending on, again, how bad it is, or, what type of finishes you're looking to do. But $20 a square foot for something that like just needs some touch ups, right? They just need some lipstick rehab, they like to call it. Second would be a medium rehab, right? So that's kind of the next thing up on the list. You're talking about a little bigger of a refresh, right? So maybe it's a property that was owned by like, an elderly couple, and, the thing's dated, has some wear and tear, but good bones, nothing really like, you know, nothing really molding or falling apart and like having to rip out. That's something that where you would want to look at $30 a square foot. And really what that extra bump is, it's helping you update those kitchens, it's updating the baths, the layout, hopefully spruce up the outside a little bit. The next one I get, and that's $30 a square foot, right? So the next one would be a heavy rehab, okay? This is where you're really starting to flex your construction muscles, right? Now, again, you're probably not doing the work, but this is where you need a contractor. And I mean, you need a contractor for a medium rehab as well. You're going to be needing it for any case if you're using a 203K or any other kind of renovation loan. But, you're looking at, having to change the structure around a little bit, changing room layouts, adding some closets. Maybe you want to open up a wall, fix some of the MEP, guys. MEP means mechanical, electrical, or plumbing. So anything that has to do with any of the systems in the house, those are the big money items, guys. Those are always also very important to look at. It's easy to just walk into a house and look how it looks visually, just at face value. But really where you have to see what this is going to cost you is when you get down into the basement, you check the boiler, you check the electrical panel, you check the piping, what kind of piping they're using. And these are things that you could walk around with a realtor or a 203K consultant, which again, we get into a little more in the course, or, whatever other, other material you see by me, like on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. But you do the walkthrough, and these are things where it's going to bump up the price again a little bit. $40 a square foot is what I like to be here. Full gut rehab, okay, that's a $50 a square foot. That is something like my property, guys. So my property, I had to go in, and there was so much mold, and like everything was falling apart. Like all the systems were completely unusable. I had to strip that thing down to the bones, okay? All that was left was wood, right? All that was left was wood. I had to replace, the roof. I had to replace the floors. I had to replace all the walls, all the sheetrock, and I had to replace all the electrical, all the plumbing, everything, guys, start to finish. I added a new HVAC system, everything that was included for that I like to call about $50 a square foot. All right. So I hope that helps. Again, this is a rough estimate, guys. This is not meant to be your exact estimate. This is where you need to bring a 203K consultant in to get a double check on what they think it's going to be to do the work on the property, at least the work that the bank needs. But this is coming from a construction, someone with a long construction background, someone that knows what these prices are going to be. This is also like New York prices, guys. So New York tends to be a couple percentage points, like 10-15% more expensive in general with everything than anywhere else in the United States. Again, unless you're in California, some of these other areas. But if you're in a less populated area, whatever the case, you might be a little on the lower side on some of these numbers. So I hope that helps, guys. So what that's going to do now is it's going to give you a total rehab estimate. Okay. Just so you guys know, as it says here, everything in light green, okay, is where you are putting in numbers. The rest are locked cells. These are cells that you should not change. I have formulas input in these cells, and these are going to spit back numbers that you're going to use throughout the process. Okay, so what this total rehab estimate does here, guys, is it's pretty much just multiplying whatever you put in for a rehab cost versus a square footage. All right, and then what it's going to give you here on the next number is what your total cost will be, pretty much what your loan amount is going to be, your 203K mortgage principal amount. That's what that's going to be here. And then your minimum down payment required if you're looking to purchase this and renovate it to about that standard, right? Now, again, the lowest you need is 3.5%. So in this case, if you put $90,000 into the property, you're looking at a $360,000 purchase plus rehab price, and you're looking at a down payment of about $12,000. Okay. So this again, so this is your all-in cost. This correction from what I said before. This gives you what it would be, because of course your down payment is going to take away from whatever that total cost is. So your mortgage amount is only going to be based off of this. Okay. So the next thing you would do is you go to mortgagecalculator.info.org, and it's a pretty self-explanatory mortgage calculator. We'll walk through that a little more, but basically you want to put in what your monthly payment would be. And then the next thing you want to do is put in what your property would rent out for if you moved out eventually, and what if it would cash flow. Okay. Equity and profit, we'll get a little more into that. And then refinancing. Basically what this is, guys, is it's just seeing if you could refinance out immediately with this property, which is ideally something that you want to do. The 203K loan has mortgage insurance on it for the life of the loan. So even if you've paid off 20% of your mortgage in 10 years, you still are going to have to pay that mortgage insurance until you refinance out of that loan. So it's really important to do if you want to squeeze an extra couple $100 of cash flow out of this property when you're done and you're moved out. Cool. So let's get right into it, guys. Again, I'm going to do this live, so I don't know, the deal might work, it might not work, I have no idea. So what we're going to do is just go to homepath.com. Again, this is a website that I found my property on, so I'm biased for it. And then what we're going to do here is I'm just going to pick a random state. I don't know, let's just do Tennessee. I don't know why I picked Tennessee, but let's do Tennessee. Geez, well, Tennessee, it's hard to spell. Cool. Alrighty, guys. So what I did here is I just hit Tennessee. Homepath.com. Again, Homepath is a Fannie Mae foreclosure website. So every foreclosure that hits this website are Fannie Mae federal foreclosures, which means that they are eligible for any federal financing, FHA, 203K, any of that stuff. And it really puts you in a good position because you have these things over here called first looks. Now, I won't get too much into this, guys, but basically what a first look period is since it's a federal foreclosure, they want to give first-time home buyers, owner-occupant people that are going to live in the property or at least intend to live in the property when they first get into it, they're basically what they're giving you is they're giving you a 10-day grace period. What that means is you don't have to compete against any cash investors. Cash investors are not allowed to bid on this property for this first look period, which is really freaking cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, guys, again, so if we're doing the 203K loan, the 203 way K, Jesus Christ, the 203K way strategy, what I always like to do first is look for those 2 to 4 units, guys. This still works without 2 to 4 units. I don't know if anywhere in Tennessee is going to have a 2 to 4 unit, but let's just start with that. Okay. So it looks like there's one in the whole entire state, but that's fine. Again, I don't stop here. I go into a little more in some of my other material about how to maybe find other ways to find 2 to 4 units, but this obviously works best with 2 to 4 units, but it doesn't need to be 2 to 4 units. Okay. So what we'll do here is we'll just click this property. This is an active listing. This is a good one that we could work off of because it's got some good information on it. Got a couple pictures here. So let's get right into it, guys. So I'm gonna basically put this off to the side here, so we can still see what's going on. Let's do this right here. Cool. Hopefully you see this. And basically what you want to do is you want to start plugging in some numbers. All right, guys. So basically what you're going to do here is just put that listing price here. So it's listed for $75,000. Awesome. Square footage. It's looking like it's about 1,900 square feet. So let's just leave that at 2,000. So this is amazing potential duplex located in Athens. Great location, being close enough, but still very rural feel. 2-1 on each side. 1-car garage with extra storage in the basement. That's awesome. You could charge money for that, guys. Cannot be sold for less than current as is appraised value. No repair. Blah 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 blah. All right, cool. But thing looks good. Let's jump into it here. All right, let's take a look at the outside. Outside actually looks pretty good, guys. I don't really know what's going on with this thing. Looks like it was maybe an old garage. All right, inside's looking a little dated for sure. Walls look pretty okay. Floors look okay. That's an interesting bathroom. Okay. All wood bathroom. Okay, so the bathrooms definitely need to get renovated. Kitchens, yeah, man, these kitchens are a little dated. But overall, the bones look pretty good. Roof looks decent, doable. The structure out here looks pretty good. I would have to say that this is really not too bad, guys. I mean, you're talking maybe about a medium rehab, $30 a square foot. Because again, if we're using this scenario, you want to update the kitchens, the baths. You might have to do some electrical work or something like that, but it'll probably be light. So let's go here. Let's just put $30. So what you're looking at here is a total rehab of 60,000. All right. I think that's probably on the high side, but let's stick with it for now. All right. So again, you don't have to put in anything else in this area. All this stuff is going to populate out for you. So it looks like your total cost is going to be 135,000. Your down payment's going to be this, 4,700 bucks. Guys, 4,700 bucks to buy a house. That's really not much. And you're looking at your total loan amount of being about 130,000. All right. So the next thing here, guys, is to go to mortgagecalculator.org. And now this is where we start analyzing what the mortgage is going to be. So what I like to do here is type in the home value, which in this case, so what you want to use for home value is you want to use the FHA like loan amount. Okay. You want to know, actually, I'm sorry, excuse me. You can go here and you could put in 135, which again is going to be what your all-in cost is, right? So you do that. This does it for you, but you can pick down payment of 3.5%. All right, it's going to spit you the same number that we have here, guys, 130,275. Interest rate. So I like to double check this. What you can do is just very quickly Google FHA 30-year fixed interest rate today. Cool. And you can pretty much just look at the first thing here. So it looks like you're hovering around. Well, it says 5%. 4.9. I would say 4.5. This is something that you'll declare with your lender. This isn't, it's going to be based on your credit score, your credit profile. So 4.5 is what I paid. I had nothing special. It could be crawl up to 5, a little under 5. But let's just leave it at 4.5 for now. The loan term, we're going to do a 30-year term, typically property taxes. So let's go back here. Let's look at this website. Let's see if they have any tax information on this property. Let's see what we got here, guys. Any tax information? I don't see anything tax-wise, but what we can do now is Zillow usually has tax information, so we can copy that address, go to Zillow.com, and let's click here. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Yeah, I wonder why we're not getting any tax information on this one. Let's Google it. Maybe try realtor.com. Maybe they have something. School information, annual tax amount 908. That, as someone that lives in New York, that is sick to look at. Let's go back to our mortgage calculator. So they pay $908 a year. Your PMI, okay, guys. So for 203K loans, all you need to know is it's 0.85%. All right, that's all I'll leave it at for that. And that's on a yearly basis. Home insurance, nationwide, it really depends. I like to say it's usually always anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500. Just put 1,000 here. That's usually like a good thing to go off of. This can vary wildly, and it's really going to come down to closing. All right. So once you do that, you're done. You hit calculate. All right. So what it's going to do here is it's going to give you what your mortgage payment's going to be every month with PMI. Okay, that's going to include all that that mortgage insurance that you're paying because it's an FHA loan. All right. So you have this. This is going to be this is like everything factored in, taxes, everything. You're paying 75 a month of taxes. And so 9/11/36. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to come here and we're going to put in 9/11. All right. And now the next thing I want to do is look at what the estimated monthly rent is for this area. So very easy way to do it is call a website called rentometer.com. They are really an excellent website. And what you do is very simple. Okay, so we saw here that these are 2 ones on each side. So it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath on each side. You can confirm that here: 4 beds, 2 baths, or 4 beds. So 1 and 1. You can go here, enter the address. For rent, I like to just put in whatever the mortgage payment is just to start. And then put a 2-bedroom. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hit analyze address. All right. So what this is going to do is this is going to spit back. This is going to spit back some information on for this. This is a pro, but if you're not pro, it's going to spit this back for you. But all right. So basically, it looks like 900 would be a way too high mark. Looks like 700 a month is about what people pay in this area for a 2-bedroom. So what you do with that now, listen, in the beginning, you're going to have to live in the property. That's just the way you do it. It's the 203K way strategy is a live-in flip, right? And that's fine. You go in there, you do the rehab, you live in there for a little bit, and then you figure out what you want to do next in your life. But ultimately, you don't have to stay there forever. This is going to be the one. This is going to be the deal that helps all future deals, right? So what you do here is I want your estimated monthly rent after you move out, right? So what if shit hit the fan and you had to move out, whatever case may be, would this property be able to pay for itself? So what I would do here is just take that $700 amount and then multiply it by 2, right? Because there's 2 of these 2 bedrooms. So right here, that would be $1,400 a month. Okay. So what you have here now is some pretty cool results already so far, guys. And literally, I'm doing this live. I picked this very quickly. So looking at it, face value for the listing price, being as it may, is $75,000, not offering anything lower. This thing is going to cash flow about 400, 500 bucks a month. Okay. So, which is really, really cool. I mean, you have you have the ability to you have the ability to really make sure that you're cash flowing on this thing and making 500 bucks a month on it, and it's paying for itself. I don't need to get into the benefits of real estate with you guys, but appreciation over time. If you leave this thing alone for 30 years, you come back, you sell it, you got that 500 bucks a month every month. So if you're looking at that, now obviously real estate prices typically go up, but let's say 500 a month times 12 months, you're making $6,000 a year off of this property. And then you multiply that by 30 years, you're making $180,000. Plus, when you go to dump it, hopefully it's probably worth more than this. You're looking at, after 30 years, a couple $100,000 in your pocket, right? And all you needed to do was put down a $4,000 down payment. So this is the good thing about real estate, guys, and this is why creates more millionaires than anything else. So Does this pass the 1% rule? So what the 1% rule is, basically it's a quick rule, again, like a quick analyzing tool, that basically states that your rent should be 1% of whatever you paid for on the property. So in our case, it would be the purchase plus the rehab price of 135,000. So you want to know, does this pay for itself? So a 1% rule would be 1,300 bucks, and this is, you'd be making 1,400, so it's over the 1% rule. It fits within the confines. Don't really get too into it. It could also not hit the 1% rule and still be a good deal. This is, again, just something that's a rough guide map for you guys. Okay, the next part is a little trickier, but ultimately what you want to do now is you want to make sure that the after repaired value, after you buy it, after you fix it up, after that it's worth a nice little significant amount more than what you paid for it, right? Because what you can now do with that equity is, when you're before you're ready to move out, you take out a home equity line of credit on the property. That home equity line of credit is going to allow you to tap into that equity, or that extra value that you built into it with the renovation, and you can use that as basically an open checkbook, and you can use that to buy more properties, which is ultimately what you want to do, and what the whole point of this whole system is, right? So one of the quickest ways to do that is, again, to just use Zillow. So what I like to do is go to Zillow.com, type in the address, and we're going to go here and we're going to see where we're at. So basically what you want to do is, you want to just, after you enter that in, you want to X that out. Okay, and I'm going to drag this out a little bit, guys. So basically what you want to do is, you want to look for any 4-bedroom, 2 baths that have sold recently in the area. All right, so 4 beds. Let's look for 2 baths. All right, the square footage we know is somewhere around 2,000 square feet. So the best thing to do is kind of open up the frame around it. So you want to look for homes that are like within 1,700 to 2,200 square feet. And then what you want to do here is do sold in last 6 to 12 months. Okay, so after you do that, you hit done. So this is going to show everything kind of in this area that is sold for that, that has been that has been sold in the last 12 months or so. So here's one right here. This one looks like it's been pretty renovated. It's in decent condition, good shape house. Now everything isn't brand new, but it looks like this thing sold for 159,000. All right, so that could be something that you could look at. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and this is 99. No pictures there. What you're looking for here, guys, is you're looking for properties that are looking good, right? They're looking nice, fixed up. Again, looking at something like this wouldn't be a comparable, because this is a very dated kitchen, right? So that wouldn't be comparable. You're looking for things that have been fixed and spruced up. This is something that would be a lot more comparable for you guys. Little nicer, good finishes, stuff like that. This is something that might be a little closer in your price range, okay? Or a little closer to what your ARV would be. Still scrolling down. Let's see, this is a 4-bedroom, 2 bath. Yeah, see, this one's not too terrible. And this sold for a really cheap amount. Now, if it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit, it looks a little weird like that. It doesn't look like there was any, real, I guess this is a trailer home. Yeah, so that's probably the reason why it sold for a lot less. Let's look at this one, 4.5. Nice little house. Again, not brand new, little dated, but a good condition house. Same square footage, same bedroom bath layout. Now again, this isn't a 2-unit, so what ends up happening is, because it's a 2-unit, a duplex, you usually will be able to get a little more money. So I think, just looking at this very quickly, guys, I can imagine that you would be able to sell this thing for 175 when you're done. Again, conservatively, that's something that I would always err on the side of being conservative. So if we did that, it's safe to say that you'd be making 44,000 in equity by the time you're done. All right. That means your return on your down payment investment is 946% in the first year. That doesn't include, again, what this would be long term, right? Again, you're making 500 bucks a month, plus at the end of 30 years you can dump it and still make that money back. All right, so another great thing is it looks like you'd have enough meat on the bone. So the next thing here, guys, is if you're able to refinance out immediately after you're done with the rehab. And basically, all this evidence that we're seeing right here is telling us, yeah, man, you'd be able to do it, because what you're looking to do is you're looking to make sure that your mortgage amount versus your after rehab value is less than 80%, because 80% is the cutoff for what a bank will lend on for a refinance. So what that does is that's going to allow you to get rid of that mortgage insurance, which is 92 bucks a month, and then your new mortgage payment is going to be 80. It's going to be 800 a month, and your new cash flow is going to be actually closer to 581. So that's cool. So you're making an extra 100 bucks a month just because you're able to refinance. Guys, I did this very quick. I hope this goes to show you that in dang near any market, very quickly, at face value, these things work because the 203k has so many benefits. And if you just stay within the confines of what it asks you to do, play in the rules, do what you got to do, use this as your first one to jumpstart you for the rest of your career, you're looking like you're in really good shape. 4,700 bucks, guys, is turning into 44,000 in a couple months. And that's not including the monthly cash flow that you'll get after you move out. That's incredible, guys. And then listen, if you say you want to live here for a long term, okay, if you negate this and you're only putting this at 700 a month, you're only coming out of pocket 200 bucks a month, guys. Like, not even, actually. So if you were here, you'd only be coming out of, I mean, what would it do for you for your rent to be 100 bucks a month? Plus, you still have that equity there, and that equity you can use with a home equity line of credit. You could do a cash out refinance. That's another thing you can do. Pull some of that money out and go buy another one of these things, and then start the snowball effect. So I hope this clears up this tool and how to use it. I really am so excited that I was able to. I do this all the time, guys. This isn't the first time I've done it. I do a lot of one-on-ones with people, and to help them find deals in their area. If you aren't interested in that, you can go to 203kmastermind.com. But basically, these deal finding sessions always work out this way, guys. It's very, very quick. It's and easy to find deals that work because you're putting such a low down payment down. And, like, listen, in many cases, you're not looking for a home run deal. You're just looking for something that you're spending less than what it's worth at the end. And you're looking for something that could pay for itself when you're all done. So I hope this was really insightful, guys. If you have any questions, as always, please just email me, matt@the203kway.com. If you don't yet follow me on Instagram, I post all great content on there. It's at the 203kway. Find me on YouTube. Find me on Facebook, and let me know. Keep me posted on how this tool works for you, and let me know if you have any issues or any trouble. I'm there to help, and I can't wait for you to start using this and start analyzing your own deals so that you can see that you can do this too. All right. So peace out, guys. Hope to see you soon.